Stephanie here with another Bibliophones video, and today I am exhausted. We've been working on our kitchen, and I'm exhausted. But today I'm bringing you what I should have done last month is the Mid-Year Freakout Tag. Yeah. Mid-Year Freakout Tag. That is what I'm bringing you because I don't have a TBR this month. I'm participating in a couple readathons, and I'm doing vlogs for them. Like, I'm so proud of myself. I'm actually vlogging. This is the Mid-Year Freakout Tag because I am freaking out. Let's get into it. I love my cup. All right, so there's 13 questions it looks like, and I will be answering them all. I haven't picked out any books yet. Well, I picked out one book because I wanted to go grab it. So I saw that and I knew I was going to like this book. So the first question is best book that you've read so far in 2021. So the best book that I've read so far, which was a surprising book to me. Now, this is the second book, but it was Bring Me Their Hearts by Sarah Wolf. I have never read anything like this. I have never read the concept of this. The concept of this is our main character is what is called a heartless. And a heartless, that was a little too high. A heartless is basically the minion of a witch. And they're usually captured. There's very rare ones that are actually giving up their hearts willingly. And it's literally where their heart is taken from them and it's put in a jar and it's kept safe by the witch. And then in doing that, they get extra strength, speed, powers, they can't die, things like that. So I found it a very, very good book. And like, this is the second book. I do plan on reading this book this month, but for one of the readathons that I'm doing. So I'm super excited about this. And I just absolutely love this book. I found that randomly. I was looking on Goodreads, I was looking on Amazon Kindle, and I was just like, what type of book do I want to read? I want to read something different. So I found one. Okay, so the next one is best sequel you've read so far in 2021. Let me take a look. Okay, so the first one that I have is, the second book. It's not really, it's a second book. And that's what I consider a sequel, is like the second book or in the same world or whatever you want to call it. So I've got a couple answers for this. So my favorite second book was this one and another one. And this is Children of Virtue and Vengeance by Tomi Adeyemi. Such a good book. Such a wonderful book. This book, I love this book so much. There was a cliffhanger. There's a major cliffhanger at the end, and I did not expect this cliffhanger to happen, and it came like as like a sucker punch type of cliffhanger. You were like, oh, the book is almost over, and then all of a sudden it's just like you flip the page and it's done. Like, there's no more book, and I was like, no, why would you do this to me? But it is such a good book. I loved it. It was very different. I've never read a type of book like this, or the first one of this, which is Children of Blood and Bone. It was a different magic system, and it was a different location. It was so good. So I definitely enjoyed this book. And then the other book that I have is Gemini by Jay Kristoff and Amy Kaufman. This is the sequel to the Illuminae Files. And it literally says right there, the sequel. So that's why I kind of have two answers. This book, this whole series, I absolutely love this series. This book is about, I always forget this one. Okay, so this one is about Hannah Donnelly and Nicholas Malikoff. And Hannah Donnelly is like your preppy, basically you're a preppy space girl. And Nick Malikoff is basically the mob or a gangster. So, and they have to team up to survive. And it is such a good series. This sequel is absolutely my favorite as far as actual sequels are concerned. As far as second books are concerned, I love this book. Okay, and then the next question is, new release you haven't read yet but wanted to. And I had to go grab this book. And that is Lore by Alexandra Bracken. Bracken. This book, I know nothing about this book, but how could you not want to read that? It has a Medusa on it, and like she's all grayed out except for her eye. I wanted to read it. And of course it came out in January. I have yet to read it. I plan on reading it soon. So this is my most anticipated read of 2021. I don't know why my dog is barking. There's no school buses. So the next book is the biggest disappointment of 2021. I've had a couple of disappointments, but the major disappointment I had was Shatter Me by Tahara Mafi. That book, I was so excited to read it. And this is a book that I've tried to read a couple times, like in different times of my life. Like I was always thinking that it was just something that I was not in the right mood to read it. And I have nothing with Tahara Mafi's writing. I have nothing wrong with her as an author. It's just that book, I could not read it. I started reading it and it literally gave me anxiety to read it. So I had to DNF it. And I know a ton of people love that series, and I would love to love that series, but I can't love it. It was the most disappointing thing so far in 2021 as far as reading is concerned. I just couldn't finish it. Biggest surprise of 2021. Let's take a look. So biggest surprise would have to be Red Rising by Pierce Brown. I did not think I was going to like this book because of the whole fact that it is like a post-apocalyptic it was not really a dystopian. It's kind of like a dystopian post-apocalyptic sci-fi. And I did not think I would like this book, and I absolutely loved it. I have the next book, and me and my husband are kind of buddy reading them together, so I can't wait to get into this book and into the rest of the series. Favorite new author? That would definitely have to be Sarah Wolf. I absolutely loved her writing. I loved her style of awesomeness as far as her first book is concerned. Now, hopefully I'm not going to be greatly disappointed later on, but I don't think I am. I think this is going to be really good. So, favorite new author, Sarah Wolf. Newest fictional crush. I don't have fictional crushes because, well, I don't get fictional crushes. I would say one of my new favorite characters, we'll put it that way. One of my new favorite characters is definitely Darrow from Red Rising and Zara from Bring Me Their Hearts. Those are probably my two favorite characters so far. And like, I have a ton of other favorite characters, but these two definitely stand out. And of course, the next question is newest favorite character. I just told you that. Yeah, it's still definitely those two. So those two questions go hand in hand for me. There's not really, I don't have a fictional crush. Book that made you cry. That one is easy. I cried so much in this book, and the entirety of the Illuminae Files, I cried so much with these two. But they're such good books. It's a good cry. Book that made you happy. I would have to pick Cress by Marissa Meyer. Her books, like, there's so many emotions going on, but this book made me super happy because of the two main characters in here, of how they started to become the love interest of each other. That was just like so amazing, and I absolutely love this series. So yeah, this book made me happy. Most beautiful book that you've bought so far this year or received? Hands down, Crazy Sweet Creations by Anne Reardon. Her channel is How to Cook That, and that's my display book right now. So I absolutely love this, and it's like, I want to try a bunch of the recipes in here because if you haven't checked out our channel, go check it out. It is basically like the cooking version of Mythbusters. And if you're like me, I absolutely love Mythbusters as a kid. So it is definitely a very, very good book. And it's my most beautifulest book. And plus, that looks absolutely delicious. And the last question is, what books do you need to read by the end of the year? Well, all of them. But I did have a goal on Goodreads for 100 books. And the way I was going, because I was keeping track, I was like 20 books behind. There was no way I was going to catch up. So I decided to cut my losses and drop that to 75. And right now I am almost ahead of my goal. So if I can get to 100, I still want to try. But as far as books that I need to read, all of them. I have kind of a set TBR, but it's more like a continuous rotating TBR. There are some months I don't even like to have a TBR. I just like to go into it blind and I like to see what happens. Sometimes those months are like my best reading months ever. But that is it, guys. That is the mid-year freakout tag. And I have nobody to tag that I know that that hasn't done this tag. So if you haven't done this tag, consider yourself tagged. And if you do this video after you've seen my video, like send me a link so I can see it, because I always like to watch everybody's mid-year freakouts because it's always nice to see what people are reading, where people are at, and like how their reading is progressing throughout the year. And I just absolutely love watching those types of things. So, but comment down below of your mid-year freakout moments. And until next time, guys, this is Abilifo signing off. Bye. I don't think there's enough coffee in the world today to keep me awake. Just saying.